If you walk out onto a busy city street today, every single face you see belongs to the exact same species, Homo sapiens. We take this absolute monopoly on human existence completely for granted. To us, being human means being alone. But for 95% of our history, this wasn't the case. If you could step into a time machine and travel back just 100,000 years, the Earth would look like a real-life fantasy world. We shared this planet with at least 5 other distinct, highly intelligent species of humans. In the cold forests of Europe, there were the Neanderthals, strong, deeply adapted to the Ice Age, with brains actually larger than our own. In the caves of Siberia, there were the Denisovans. On the tropical island of Flores in Indonesia, a species of miniature humans nicknamed the hobbits hunted giant rodents. In Africa, Homo naledi navigated deep, pitch-black cave systems. They all walked, talked, loved, and survived. And then, in a geological blink of an eye, they all vanished, every single one of them, except us. The question of why we are the last humans standing is one of the greatest mysteries in science, and the answer isn't that we were stronger, faster, or even smarter. It's far more haunting than that. Let's start by shattering the biggest myth in human history, the idea that our evolutionary cousins were dim-witted brutes. For decades, popular culture portrayed Neanderthals as knuckle-dragging cavemen, but modern archaeology has completely dismantled that image. We now know Neanderthals buried their dead with care, occasionally placing flowers in graves. They painted abstract art on the walls of caves in Spain long before Homo sapiens arrived in Europe. They used medicinal plants to treat pain and infections, and they crafted sophisticated tools by heating birch bark to create a highly complex adhesive glue. Physically, a single Neanderthal could easily overpower the strongest modern weightlifter. Their brains averaged around 1,500 cubic centimeters, compared to our modern average of about 1,400. They were not evolutionary failures. They survived for over 400,000 years, more than twice as long as modern humans have currently existed. So, what went wrong? For a long time, scientists believed a sudden climate catastrophe wiped them out, or that Homo sapiens simply marched out of Africa and slaughtered them in a massive prehistoric war. But the archaeological record doesn't show evidence of global warfare. Instead, the truth lies in something much more subtle, hidden deep within our behavior. In the early 2000s, anthropologists began closely examining the raw materials used by different human species. When archaeologists look at Neanderthal campsites, the stone used for their tools almost always comes from a local source, usually within a radius of less than 5 or 10 miles. They lived in small, tight-knit family bands of perhaps 10 to 15 individuals. They knew their immediate surroundings perfectly, but their world ended at the horizon. Now look at Homo sapiens campsites from the same era. Archaeologists find seashells hundreds of miles inland. They find high-quality flint that was mined vast distances away. Homo sapiens were trading. We were communicating across immense distances. This brings us to a fundamental difference in how our brains process information. While a Neanderthal band was incredibly self-sufficient, it was an island. If a harsh winter came and their local valley ran out of food, that band starved and their collective knowledge died with them. But Homo sapiens operated in massive, interconnected social networks. If our ancestors faced a famine, they could reach out to neighboring tribes miles away, individuals they shared a common language, culture, and mythos with. We didn't survive because we had bigger individual brains. We survived because we created a collective brain. We networked our intelligence. This massive social network accelerated our technological evolution. Think about the bow and arrow, or the atlatl, a spear thrower that allows a human to launch a weapon from a safe distance. Homo sapiens invented projectile weapons. We could hunt dangerous game from 50 yards away. Neanderthals, relying on their immense physical strength, used heavy thrusting spears. To kill a woolly mammoth or a bison, a Neanderthal had to get up close and drive the spear in by hand. The skeletal remains of Neanderthals are famously riddled with fractures and traumas, strikingly similar to the injuries seen in modern rodeo riders. They lived lives of brutal physical toll. As the climate shifted and large game became scarcer, our efficient, long-range hunting methods outcompeted their high-risk, high-energy lifestyle. But our story with these other humans isn't just one of competition. It's also a story of intimate contact. In 2010, a geneticist named Svante Pääbo achieved what many thought was impossible. He mapped the entire Neanderthal genome using ancient DNA extracted from bones tens of thousands of years old. When he compared it to modern human DNA, the results shocked the scientific world. If your ancestry originates outside of sub-Saharan Africa, between 1 and 2% of your DNA is Neanderthal. We didn't just replace them. When Homo sapiens walked out of Africa and encountered Neanderthals in the Middle East and Europe, we looked at them and we recognized them as human. We interbred. The Denisovans left their mark too. Many people of Melanesian and indigenous Australian descent carry up to 4 to 6% Denisovan DNA. This changes the entire narrative of their disappearance. They didn't just vanish into thin air. Part of them was absorbed into us. We literally carry the ghosts of extinct human species inside our own cells. Geneticists have found that the Neanderthal DNA we retain still influences us today, affecting everything from our immune systems and skin biology to our sleep patterns and risk of certain diseases. They gave us genetic tools to survive the harsh Eurasian climate, tools that would have taken our ancestors tens of thousands of years to evolve on their own. Yet, even with interbreeding, the distinct populations of other humans slowly faded away. The math of the world grew lonelier. Around 40,000 years ago, the Denisovans disappeared. The tiny humans of Flores vanished around 50,000 years ago. The very last evidence of Neanderthals comes from a place called Gorham's Cave on the sheer cliffs of Gibraltar at the southernmost tip of Europe. There, a tiny, isolated remnant population clung to survival. Imagine being the last Neanderthal on Earth, walking down to the edge of the Mediterranean, looking out across the water, and realizing that the fires of your neighbors have all gone out, that your language, your stories, your entire way of being human is down to just you. And then the fire goes out for the last time. For millions of years, the human story was a story of diversity. The Earth was wide enough for different kinds of minds, different ways of experiencing reality. We won the evolutionary lottery, but our prize was an empty house. Today, we spend billions of dollars searching the cosmos for intelligent life. We build massive radio telescopes, point them at distant stars, and listen intently into the silent void of space, desperate to find an echo of another mind. There is a deep existential loneliness built into the modern human psyche. We feel so entirely alone in the universe because for the vast majority of our evolutionary history, we weren't. We used to have brothers and sisters in the dark. We looked into their eyes, we shared their fires, and we walked the same Earth. We didn't just inherit the planet, we outlived the only entities who ever truly understood what it felt like to be human. And most of us live our entire lives never knowing what we lost.